going on, boys? It's your boy Max, back again. Today's video is if you're out of shape, you should not be approaching women at the gym. It's just simple like that. You haven't earned that right yet. And if you do choose to approach women at the gym when you're out of shape, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. This just happened recently. There's a guy from my gym was talking to me in the locker room. He was complaining about his dating life, right? And he was asking me for advice. And so I asked him, okay, what are you currently doing to try to improve it, right? And he said that he's approaching women in the gym. Now, this guy, he's strong, right? He's strong, but he doesn't have a physique, right? He's not like in good shape. And so I was a little surprised when he told me that he's approaching women at the gym. So I'm like, okay, how's that going for you? And he's like, bad. And he tells me that essentially this one girl that he approached came up to her. He was like, hey, I see you all the time. I wanted to introduce myself. And there's nothing wrong with that line, right? You can use that line, but only if you're in shape, only if you look good, only if you have some sort of status within that gym, which he didn't have any of that. And this woman literally told him, I'm not interested. And then he was like, why? And then she was like, she was like, can you please stop talking to me? I'm afraid of guys like you. Like, this is a brutal rejection. And he was like talking to me. He was all upset. He was tight. And he said that this basically happened with a whole bunch of girls at the gym, right? He's got brutally rejected. And now he has a reputation for being that creepy guy in the gym, right? Being that guy who approaches every girl in sight, right? And get the guy who is known for getting rejected by women. You never want to be known as that guy, guys. Never, right? That's why I say, if you're not in great shape, you should not approach in the gym. And let me break down exactly why. When you're out of shape and you're in the gym, you could be overweight, you could be skinny fat, it doesn't matter, right? When you don't train with intensity, you're not really putting in work, or at least the results haven't shown yet that you actually do train hard. Women actually get offended when you approach them. Because think about it. A lot of times, like in my gym, some of these women be training harder than the guys in the gym. We got guys in my gym who just like approach random women, who play fight, who just yap for 45 minutes straight. And then we have the few guys who are actually really dialed in like me. So just take this from the woman's perspective. The woman comes in the gym, she's actually training, right? She's actually working out. She has a nice body, right? Now, the guys who are actually in shape, the guys who are actually putting in their work, they got their head down. They're not approaching every woman in sight. It's never the guys who are in great shape who are approaching every woman in sight. It's always the guys who are out of shape, right? And so she's literally, yes, offended because you're not the guy that she wants to get approached by, right? She wants to get approached by that guy that every single time she sees him, he's locked in. He's got tunnel vision, right? He's not looking to the left. He's not looking to the right. He's putting in sets, right? He's putting in that work. He's sweating. He looks masculine. That's the guy she wants to approach her, right? Guys, when I'm in the gym, if you know, you know. I'll be on tunnel vision, right? I'm just focused on my set, right? And I get choosing signals all the time, right? All the time. I get women literally following me around the gym. I'll be hitting chest, she's hitting legs, all of a sudden now she's hitting chest right by me, right? But this only happens once you stay locked in. My analogy for this is like when you're in the gym, you gotta be a sniper, right? There's nothing wrong with approaching women in the gym. You just gotta do it the right way. You gotta be a sniper. You gotta take smooth, calculated shots, right? Strategic shots. A lot of you guys are just machine guns. You're taking shots at everything you see in sight. And this is just like that guy from my gym. This is how you ruin your reputation. Like this guy literally ruined his reputation, and now if he wants to get any gym girl, he's gonna literally have to switch gyms, all right, change gyms because he's known as that needy guy, that creepy guy. You never want to get yourself in that position, all right? Never. Guys, women love when a guy looks good and he has the masculine frame, right? Best believe when she's in the gym, she's checking out the guys who are jacked. She's checking out the guys who are not checking her out, right? And I see this all the time. I rest in between my sets, right? And I'll be looking around, and this is the main problem with it. If you are out of shape, or if you just suck at approaching women, and you choose to approach a woman at the gym, since she gets offended by it, right? She's more likely to give you a brutal rejection, right? So she may say something crazy to you. She may like you're gonna see instantly in her body language that this girl doesn't want to talk to you, right? They're gonna make it very obvious. And sometimes they do it on purpose because they don't want the jacked guys. They don't want the guys they actually want, right? They don't want them to think that there's anything between you two, right? That she's actually interested in you. They're gonna make this shit obvious, right? And so when I be resting in between my sets, I take a look around and I got my headphones on, right? I don't hear the conversations, but I can tell from the body language, okay, this is a platonic relationship. Okay, she just rejected that guy that approached her, right? I could instantly tell off the body language alone. Now, if I could tell that, you think these women can't tell? Guys, it's funny. They literally be on the stairmasters, right, at my gym, and they treat that shit like a watchtower. They're looking out for what every guy is doing, right? Just peeping shit out. Okay, this guy, every time I see him, he's jacked. He got his head down. He's just focused on his sets. He's putting in work. Every time he's in, he's out. Okay, this guy, yeah, he just be on his phone for like 45 minutes straight. This guy, he just be bullshitting. He just talks to every single girl, and I could tell all the girls are rejecting him. Yeah, I don't want that guy, right? Who do you think they're gonna actually want to approach them? The one who's dialed in, the one who got his head down, the one who actually looks the part, not the guy who's on his phone, not the guy who's approaching every woman in sight. They don't want him, right? And so when you do approach her, she's literally gonna give you a bad reaction because she's offended. You understand? Now I normally say that you shouldn't worry about what a woman's gonna do. Like she's not gonna give you any bad reaction if you approach her in public. But the gym is not a public spot. The gym is a spot where you usually see the same people every single time. And so once again, she's gonna make it very known that she's not interested in you because she doesn't want other guys that she actually wants to get the wrong impression. Guys, when I do choose to approach a woman in the gym, I can literally see in their face, like their face lights up. They be like, oh, I wish you would have said something sooner, right? That's the type of expression they got. And they always make it so easy for me. They're always so feminine. They're always like lightful, playful when I do approach. And it's because I'm not out here being a machine gun, taking shots at everybody. Every time I'm in the gym, I'm just locked in. I'm doing my sets, right? So of course, when I do choose to make that approach, it means so much more to the woman. Because she knows, okay, this guy, he looks good, he smells good, he works out hard, and I've never really seen him approach a woman, but yeah, he's approaching me. She's actually gonna feel special, right? In a good way, right? Not in a validation way, but she's gonna feel good. She'll be like, damn, okay, yeah, let me give this guy a shot before I blow it, right? Before this weirdo approaches me. That's always how it is, right? And so that's why I say, if you're not in shape, what your job is right now is to number one, keep your head down, get into the best shape ever. I'm not saying I'm not saying you have to be super jacked, right? I'm not saying you have to be the most jacked guy in the gym. I'm not the most jacked guy in my gym, right? I'm not. But I still stand out. I stand out from my looks. I stand out from the way I train. I stand out from my confidence. I stand out from the way I walk. I stand out because literally almost everybody in the gym knows me. That's how I stand out. Going back to the way I train, guys, I do weighted calisthenics. Not too many people do that. When you think when she sees me, I got my weight belt on. I got 3 plates, 4 plates strapped to my waist. I'm doing weighted dips. You guys think they don't notice that? They notice, right? Everybody else is doing machines. Everybody else is doing dumbbell curls, just the basic gym workouts. I'm doing something different. I instantly stand out like that. That's why I love weighted calisthenics. And I don't do it for women, but I got very good at it. And now that I am, almost every single time I'm done doing like a weighted pull-up set and there's women around me, they will make a comment. They will make a comment talking about, that's impressive. Oh, I can barely do a regular pull-up. You know, they would say something like that. And it's not a regular comment either, right? Because you guys don't think the woman is intimidated. Guys, I walk around in the gym, I'm jacked. I always got like a RBF, a resting bitch face, right? Just because I'm locked in, right? I'm not angry, I'm just locked in. That's the face I got. And so the fact that she felt comfortable enough to actually make that comment just shows that she has high interest in me, right? And that's what you want. You want women who have high interest in you, but you're not gonna get that if every time you're in the gym, you don't take it serious. You don't work out with intensity. You're over here on your phone, right? So the first thing you must do is to get in great shape. You could find, I would recommend finding some sort of thing to make you stand out, all right? So for me, it's weighted calisthenics. It's the way I train. It's very different. Not too many people do it. And I do it heavy, right? I do 3 plate pull-ups, 2 plate pull-ups, 4 plate dips, right? Very few people are doing that, right? So I instantly stand out like that. You could do shit. I know some guys doing handstands, handstand push-ups. I wish I could do that stuff. I'm still working towards that right now. Once I could do handstands, it's over. It's over. That's it. Game over. Right? I'm gonna be doing them shits everywhere. But that's an instant way to stand out. You're doing handstands at the gym. Oh, how many guys are doing handstands? Instantly, you stand out. Instantly, she's intrigued. She's curious about you. So once again, you don't have to be the most jack guy in the gym. But you do have to train hard. And you should train in a way that separates you from everybody else. You should have a certain aura to you, a certain swag to you, right? You should have that. But that's not enough, right? Because a lot of guys have the physique. A lot of guys are in shape. Obviously, we're at the gym. There's going to be guys who are in shape. But what they miss is the masculine frame. And there's nothing worse to a woman than a guy who looks masculine. You're jacked. You got the six-pack popping through the shirt. You got the shoulders popping out. But then once she speaks to you, you're goofy. You play around. You don't know how to hold frame. You don't know how to speak to her the right way. You don't know how to slow down your speech. You don't know how to talk in a lower voice when you speak to her. You don't know how to keep eye contact. You have awkward body language. All of that instantly turns her off. Because I'm gonna let you guys know on a little secret, guys. Every woman that I've been with from the gym, that I've went out with, they've always told me that they would see me in the gym and they would hope I would say something. And they would literally think about me after the session. They literally told me this shit, guys. You guys think that guys are the only ones checking women out? Yeah, a woman comes in the gym, right? She got a nice body. 10 guys instantly looking at her. You think women don't do the same? They do it. They do it in a subtle way, right? And that's the thing. There's a lot of guys who think that just talking to a whole bunch of women at the gym is gonna make them look better. But you never want to be the guy that they use for non-sexual attention. Don't fall into that trap. You don't want to be that guy that just women know that they can use you anytime for your attention. Because those guys, best believe, they're not getting anything outside of that conversation. They're not going out with these men, right? They just use them for conversation to waste time while the guy they really want, right? He's over here working hard. That's the guy they really want, okay? But they're gonna use you for your attention if you let them. And I know some guys in the gym like that. They literally talk to every single time you see them, they're talking to baddies, right? They're talking to them, friendly, but you can tell that it's just platonic. You can tell that there's no sort of sexual tension, no sort of chemistry in there. And if I can tell that, best believe women can too. So don't think that, oh, just friending up a bunch of women is gonna be good because of pre-selection. Because women know, women can tell, guys, when there's only something platonic between you and another woman, or when another woman's actually feeling you. So the best way I would recommend to do this, to stand out in the gym, is to once again go in the gym, train hard, keep your head down, right? Not physically, right? Just like stay locked in on your sets, train hard, right? Don't be a goofball. Present yourself nice, come in with a fresh cut, dress in a way that highlights your physique. And best believe you don't have to speak to a single woman. Guys, I rarely speak to women at my gym. Not because I'm timid, not because I'm shy, but for the simple fact that I'm locked in. When I'm in the gym, I'm dialed in. I'm focused on my workout. I'm working on me. You understand? And they sense that. And so when they see me, when they're looking out from their little watchtower, they're not thinking, oh, this guy he's timid, like he doesn't speak to any woman. They don't think that for the simple fact that they see other women staring. They see other women following me around. They see the reaction on other women's faces when I walked by, right? They see that. The same way you can see 10 guys break their neck when a woman walks by, they see other women checking you out. And that's the best way. I call that quiet pre-selection. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be in their face with it talking to every single girl. You just show up, you do what you gotta do, and you get that quiet pre-selection. And I'm gonna put you guys on to some real game. If you are in shape, right? If you are jacked, what you could do to get more women from your gym is something I call the Instagram game. So if your gym reposts stories that they're tagged in by the members, or they have like an Instagram in general, you could, and I do this sometimes, you could literally post stories of you working out at the gym, tag your gym, or if you're gonna make a video or something, if you're gonna make a post, put your gym in the tags, right? In the tagged people. And other women who go to your gym, they're gonna see the stories and they're gonna see it on their feed. And if you do stand out, if they were interested in you, they're gonna be like, okay, Max, yeah, I remember this guy. Every time I see him in person, he just gives me eye contact and then he stays focused on his workout. He never really says anything to me. And I see all these women checking him out, but I can't figure him out. I don't know what is he about, right? What is he about? And so they see the post. They're like, oh, that's him. And then they go check out your Instagram. You got a nice Instagram because you followed the Instagram guide that I uploaded. You got your Instagram set up with nice pictures. You're looking fresh. You're showing off your lifestyle. You got the stories up to bait them if you know you know. Bro, I can't tell you how many girls from my gym literally found me, stalked me through Instagram. They would watch my stories for like weeks and not follow me. And then eventually they would start liking stories. They would start liking my posts. They would end up following me and DMing me just because of the bait, right? So that's an easy way to actually get women from your gym to come to you. But it's going to require you to, number one, have a good in-person presentation and have a good offline presentation, right? That's the same thing. I meant have a good in-person presentation and have a good digital presentation. When you have those two things, you're unstoppable, right? But you must have this last link. And that's what I call the elite frame, right? Which is just a masculine frame to yourself. Because there's a lot of guys, like I mentioned, who are jacked, right? They look good. She sees you, you're sweating, right? You're always on her mind, right? She's wondering, oh, am I gonna see this guy tomorrow? Am I gonna see Max? And there's nothing worse than you looking like you could do some damage, like you know how to conduct yourself, like you get woman, and then she speaks to you, and you're the complete opposite. Nothing worse than that. Nothing worse to a woman than a guy who looks masculine, but he isn't. You're better off actually looking like you're feminine, but then actually being masculine. They would get with that guy instead, right? They would get with that guy instead. But if you look masculine and you're not, instant turn off. You can forget about it, right? That's why I always say you gotta have your habits on lock. You gotta stay true to your word. You gotta watch your habits. Watch what you do on a day-to-day basis because all of that builds your self-respect. And your self-respect is not something you could just fake. Your self-respect radiates in the way you walk, in the way you talk, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you hold that masculine frame when actually speaking to her. That's what it does, right? You can have all the muscles in the world. She talks to you, you sound like a bitch. You think that's gonna help? Nah. She's gonna be like, oh God. But listen, when you're the guy, when you're the guy that looks jacked, dresses nice, is clean, right? He doesn't wear shirts with stains on it to the gym. He actually presents himself a little nice, right? He got a little gym fit on. She sees you, you're training hard, you're sweating, you got the testosterone popping up, right? You got the masculine energy because you've been eating clean, right? You've been eating in a way that's gonna boost your testosterone. You're not eating the soy, the processed bullshit, right? You're not eating the cupcakes. You're eating whole foods, 90-10 whole food diet. When she sees you and you radiate that type of energy, and then she finally speaks to you, she's already been fantasizing about you at that point. She's been fantasizing about you at that point. But then when she speaks to you and you're everything that she thought you were, that that's when it's game over. That's when it's game over. And I'm telling you guys, I've been with plenty of women from the gym, and they would always tell me, you're exactly what I thought you were, right? Or I didn't even expect you to be this confident. I didn't expect you to be this masculine. I didn't expect you to be this direct. Like they would always think I'm more older, like more grown than I am. Because I'm pretty young, you know what I'm saying? And they would always think I'm more older just because the way I carry myself, I'm more mature. You understand? So that's always when it's game over. When you have the looks and you have the masculine frame. But a lot of you guys, you don't have both. You don't have the looks or the masculine frame. You're just a goofy. You're out here in the gym just to approach women. Yeah, we get it. Gym girls look good. They're in shape. But guess what? They want you to be in shape too. You think if she's in shape, she doesn't want a guy who's in shape? You think she's not fantasizing about the guy who's in the gym that's wearing the stringer, got his shoulders popping out, he's lean? Guys, you got to work on your image. And listen, like I said, you don't have to be the most jacked guy, but you should be putting in the work. And if you're nowhere near that, right, guys, When I first was in the gym, I didn't approach no woman until I started seeing some sort of results in my physique. Not because I wasn't confident, right? Not because I wasn't confident. I was, right? Not as confident, but I still had some confidence to myself. I just knew my purpose. My purpose for getting in the gym was deeper than women. My purpose was to work on myself, to become the best version of myself. You understand? And no chick can take that away from you. But when you make women your purpose, you go in the gym just to hit on them, they can see right through it. Right? So what I would advise you guys is to number one, put your head down for maybe a year or two, right? A year or two, however long it takes you to get in some decent shape, right? Lose a couple, like 20 pounds or 30 pounds of fat if you have to. Put on 20, 30 pounds if you have to, right? Stop being super skinny, stop being overweight, right? Get to a better, where you can at least see some definition in your muscles, right? And then you want to make connections inside the gym, because one of the things that's actually going to help you is status, right? Guys, when women notice that other guys are coming up to you, they're saying what's up to you, they're dapping you up, right? They're asking you for fitness advice, right? Everyone wants to talk to you. Well, that's the cherry on top, because every woman loves a man that is respected by other men and is admired and attracted to by women. That's what they want. That's all they want. A guy that's respected by other men and is attracted by women. Simple as that. But you don't want to force it. The same way you don't want to force your approaches with women, don't go in the gym, guys, just trying to force relationships with other guys there. Do not do that, right? That's the worst way to go about it. And I've had guys try to do that shit with me. And I would literally keep them at arm's bay, because if you are forcing friendships, if you are forcing like people to try to like you, almost always these people end up being weirdos, right? Like there's always usually something wrong with them. You understand? Because value isn't loud. You understand? When you put in the work on yourself, your value is recognized, right? That's what I did. Okay, guys, I don't go to the gym to make friends. I don't go into the gym to chit chat. But I literally know almost everybody, and I'm almost cool with everybody in the gym, just cool with them, right? I have guys come up to me every single time I'm in the gym. I have guys come up to me asking for advice, asking for like help, right? Telling me their situation. But it's not like I went out of my way to make these connections. No, all I did was, once again, I stayed locked in on what I must do. I made myself into the man worthy of being networked with, right? Make yourself the person that's valuable enough to actually network with, right? Don't go out trying to network, right? You always hear people say that. Don't go out trying to network. Make the person people want to network with. And you do so in the gym by staying locked in, getting into the best shape you can, and exuding that confidence, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't give compliments when it's due. I do that time to time, right? Doesn't even have to, you don't have to be jacked for me to give you a compliment. If I see you in the gym, I see you've been consistent every single time I'm there, you're in there, right? I might be like, yo, bro, you've been consistent, bro, keep it up. He doesn't have to be in great shape. I admire the consistency. I'll be like, yeah, bro, my name's Max. Nice to meet you. Boom. Establish some sort of connection there. I don't want anything from him. I just gave him a genuine compliment. And that's the way you got to go about it. And that's the way that I was able to attract women at my old gym. Because at my old gym, I was in decent shape, but I wasn't in as good shape as I am now. And the main reason why I was able to attract women there, right, and date women from that gym was because literally everybody in the gym knew who I was, and I was cool with basically everybody there. And they would come up to me, and it would always be a good time. And so once again, women notice that. They want the guy who's well respected. They want the guy who's admired by women. But you gotta make yourself into that man. And you won't do so. You won't do so by approaching every woman you want when you're not in shape. Because best believe, I don't want to be friends with a guy like that. I don't want to be friends with a guy who's getting rejected left and right. He's gonna make me look bad, right? I'd rather be friends with the guy who got his head down, who's putting in the work, who's eating clean, right? And has women come to him. I'd rather be friends with that guy, right? So put in the work on yourself first. And this is exactly what I help my clients with. Getting into the best shape of their life, setting them up with a diet plan, a workout routine, right? They know exactly what workouts to do. They know exactly how to eat so they can actually get that physique, so they can increase their masculine energy, their testosterone, right? There is no guesswork. They know exactly how to speak to women the right way. They have their habits on lock. They have me checking up on them every single day, holding them accountable, hopping on coaching calls every single week, making sure they're staying on task, making sure they're dressing in the way they're supposed to dress, making sure they're taking nice photos for the Instagram game, making sure that they got their dating apps on lock. And all of this just results in them becoming the man that has his pick, that has his options, that can approach a woman in the gym if he wants to with ease, right? Not the guy who's a machine gun, but the guy who's a sniper, right? So if you want my help with that, literally holding your hand, guiding you through the entire process of becoming the man that's attracted by women and respected by other men. We're gonna get you into the best shape of your life, right? We're gonna get you strong. We're gonna make you stand out in that gym through the way that your physique looks, through the way you dress, through the way you carry yourself because of the confidence you gained from actually putting in the work, from the confidence you gained from raising your testosterone from the way you're gonna eat, right? Helping you set up your digital image so when they see your Instagram, they don't instantly get turned off. It actually makes them more interested, right? Has them reach out to you first, helping you take care of your looks so you're always looking fresh, always looking fly. If you want my help specifically with that, creating you a custom plan and holding your hand along the way, hopping on coaching calls with you, making sure you do what you gotta do, and you wanna be part of a community, guys, on the same wavelength as you, working towards the same things as you are, then book a coaching call in the description below. See if you're a good fit for my coaching program and connect with me on Instagram. Guys, I post like 15, 20 stories on Instagram every day. You can get to know me more, right? You can shoot me a message, tell me about your situation, let me know what you've been doing, right? Gain value from my stories every single day, 15, 20 stories, right? Learn a little bit more about my story, who I am, right? But you could try to figure this all out by yourself, or you could have someone who's done it show you the way so you can get there faster, so you can hold yourself more accountable, right? So you have someone holding you accountable and you can become that man that's desired, right? The man that has a reputation for every woman wanting him and not being repelled by him, right? If that sounds like you, if you're interested in that, once again, the link is in the description. Just book a call. It's free. It's just to figure out your situation and whether or not I can actually help you, right? We're going to talk on the call, just you and me, and we'll see if you're a good fit. But I'll see you boys in the next one. Stay dangerous.